Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discover Brightside, the video podcast. And today we have got a master networker and author, and now he's our award winner. And he's just a fabulous person to know. And if you get to know him as well as we have, you will find how outstanding he is. So, without further ado, I'm going to let him make his presentation and then we'll bring everybody in as we move along. Thank you.
Super. Many of you probably saw the movie, read the book, The Secret. It was a phenomenon back in 2006. In fact, it was so big, Oprah really started promoting it. So, really, what The Secret did is it brought to the consciousness that we have the ability to create whatever it is that we want to create in our life. What it didn't do, it didn't give you an action strategy of what to do to make that happen. That's what I plan to do in a short period of time that we have together. As I'm doing that, let me tell you why I'm qualified ultimately to be able to do it. I'm where most people dream to accomplish at this stage of my life. And unfortunately, most people won't. My life purpose is to increase the numbers to help more people create the kind of lifestyle that they can create as it relates to what they're looking to. So that's really my life purpose. And what I plan to do ultimately with you today is share the insights that has allowed me to create those kind of things. You probably know that one person that you meet can have a significant impact in your life. For example, when I met Elizabeth and her husband, Elton, they had a significant impact in my life. When I met Maury Zukovich is here, he's had a positive impact. Dave Medansky, James Feldman, and you're going to hear me virtually continually talk about James because one person that you meet can have that kind of an impact. And as I go through this PowerPoint, I want to attribute the fact that James and I did it. But when I'm saying James and I, it was like 99% James, 1% me. But he's an amazing person. So, anyhow, let's talk about the key things that will help you create the kind of success that you're looking for. Okay. Anyhow, I'm going to share with you some very essential principles that will allow you. The first key principle is keep it smart and simple. And I'm going to give you a simple equation, which is really the foundation of everything that I talk about. And that's less and more. Very simple, less and more. Become more conscious and aware of the negative things you put in your mind, your body, the people you hang around with, and do less and more of the right people or the right thoughts that you put in your mind, your body, and the people that you associate with, followed with the right actions. When I heard somebody say when I first started off that 90% of people getting in business are going to fail. My thought was, not me. That was not an option. I had to start reprogramming my mind on a conscious and subconscious level. That's one of the reasons why I continually endorse Maury Zukovich because he's got um, triliminal methodologies that will allow you to help you change. What I started to do is programming my unconscious along with my conscious. I became compulsive at listening to different cassette tapes, attending events, reading books. So, but again, less of the negative things, the self talks, and more of the positive things. Then it went to the body. My dad had a heart attack at a young age, and I started to realize, you know, a lot of the negative foods that we get in the habit of eating. I was watching 60 Minutes, and a guy gets on from a food company, And he says, my job is to make the foods addictive. Again, it's becoming conscious and aware and making the choice that you want to do less of the negative, more of the positive, and followed with the right action, even with the people that you hang around with, the people that are wasting your time. You want to spend less time with them and find more of the right people, like some of the people that I've just mentioned that are here tonight and that are going to come into your world, because part of my vision is to create a community along with what Elizabeth and her husband are doing, and a lot of the other people that we have attracted, that will allow more people to create the success that they deserve. So anyhow, the first key in making it simple is eliminate the complexities. When I first started off as an entrepreneur, I saw the vision, I saw what I wanted to create, and I was ignorance on file. I dove in really quick. And within 6 months, I ended up creating more debt than I want to admit to. Now, there's many different aspects of how that served me. But at the same time, I met a lady that I was dating, and ultimately I ended up marrying her, and we've been happily married for over 40 years, and she wanted to know where I was financially. So the only reason I know the numbers is she chose to take over my books. And she's been handling my books all the time. She takes care of the money. I take care of the people, because to me, people, like the people that are here, the people that will have an impact, the people that we will touch, will ultimately make the difference in the relationships of the things that we're looking to create. What I've learned about networking is a bridge to creating the kind of impact that you desire. The next key, as a networker, it's like every time I go into a conversation with anybody, I'm focused on solutions. I understand the three C's, and later I'm going to talk about the three D's that I learned from James. But the three C's is, the first C is confusion. All you have to do is take a look around at what's happening, the way the media is spinning things, everything. And I don't want to get into anything on a political side, but be it the Epstein files, are we on the verge of World War III? You name it. There's just so much confusion. The only thing that we can control is the things that we can control. So I focus, the first C is confusion. Second C is challenge. I realize for a variety of different reasons, people are challenged today more than ever before. And the third C, which is the crucial one, because as I'm listening to and asking questions, is certainty. I know that I've got a solution that can help somebody as it relates to what they're doing. And that's part of the community that we are in the process of creating, and we're going to take things to the next level. Ultimately, the last C is communication. Part of the reasons I like C so much is because that was the grade that I got so much as I was going through my formal educational process. And so there's lots of C's that you're going to hear me talk about through my presentation today. So the point is, keep it simple or starve. Clear vision. Back in 1984, when I made the choice, another C, that I wanted to leave the 9 to 5 job, because I took a look at the fact that jobs are so restrictive. I got tired of somebody telling me when I was supposed to start, when I could leave, when I could take vacations, all the politics that happened in the workplace. My original vision was to be able to get away from working a job. That date happened, September 7th, 1990, a pivotal day in my life. But again, it wasn't necessarily easy, because I realize quite often as entrepreneurs the challenges they go through. But what I can tell you without a doubt, it's worth it when you break through from working the jobs. But keep a clear vision. Focus on your map. By the way, if you don't realize it yet, I love acronyms. My acronym for MAP is your Momentum Action Plan. Analyze your SWOT. I never heard about that word until I met James, and but in James Feldman, who's here today, and you'll be meeting him later. But it's understand your strengths. My strengths are people. What were my weaknesses? My weaknesses when I started off was I didn't like numbers. I wasn't a good speller. But when I chose the lady that I wanted to marry, her strengths were my weaknesses, her weaknesses were my strengths. But the same thing applies in entrepreneurship. Opportunity, I sort of mentioned it. I took a look at all the degenerative conditions that people are having because they eat too much of the wrong food. That's why, when I met Dave Medensky, he's written 4 or 5 books. I know at least four, maybe five. He's got a fantastic newsletter. He's got a great community. He's part of our thing. But again, I want people that have got the strengths so that I can stay in their strengths, so I can stay in my strengths, which is developing meaningful relationships. So you want to analyze your SWOT, the opportunity. I took a look at what was going on. When I started, I didn't see any threats. Today, there are more threats, but I see more opportunities in the threats because I always focus on the positive. So anyhow, keep it simple and shift. The key is shifting, and you're going to continually hear me talk about James Feldman. His website is Shift Happens. The guy is amazing. He's part of this community. He's helped some very large companies increase sales over $3 billion. That's right, B, not million, billion. He's got 17 different certificates, everything from a law degree to a CSP, certified speaking professional, to an MBA, MA, and a variety of other ones. I don't remember all of them. But the guy's amazing. But the point is, the key is direct communication, who you associate with. So think strategically. That's the next principle. Analyze the marketplace. Look at the gaps in the marketplace. That's what I did when I started off. That's why I'm so, when it looks at nutritional products, I see so much opportunity. But the biggest thing that we're always dealing with is other people's perception. That's where you need to be able to shift how people think and look at things. But you want to analyze the marketplace. Embrace networking. You're going to hear me, say this more and more, but your net worth is in direct relationship to the strength of the network. You want strong people around you, like Maury, like Dave Medensky, like the Brewingtons, Laura Cross, on and on, James Feldman. I mean, ultimately, the reason I continually talk about James, he's had such a positive impact. But I always operate with faith, knowing that if I'm consistently showing up, the quality people will show up around you. But embrace networking. Networking is the bridge to creating the kind of impact that you aspire to accomplishing. Next one, allocate your resources. Invest back in the people that show up and are doing something. Like when I met Elizabeth and her husband, Ellen, Ellen, Ellington. Sorry. When I first met them, they grabbed the ball and started running. You could tell they were doers. They were people that created and made things happen. So allocate and invest back in in people that are doing it, not the people that need it, and act decisively. Seek wise mentors. My original mentor was a guy named Don Fala. He wrote the book 45-Second Presentation. One of the key things is allow the tools to do the work for you. People are judging you based on how you interact with them. All you want to do is prepare somebody to either watch something, read something, guide them to something, but allow the two tools to work for you. The second mentor was Robert Nadiak. When I met him and when I started off, I was very much in debt because I really started investing in the business where I saw it could go. But the key thing that he told me, and he wrote a book, Your Destiny, Your Life and Your Work Become One, which is actually my motto. But he told me you have to have the attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for where you are as you're going to where you deserve to be. Everything that happens to you along this entrepreneurial journey, sometimes it might seem very rough, but realize it's there to serve you. And then it was Doris Wood, who was the president of the MLMIA, because, MLM is uh, a profession that most people misunderstand. It's for whatever reason, it's got the wrong perception. She came up with the acronym "Making Life Meaningful." The reason I love this business model is the only way that you succeed is by helping others be successful. The next one is subject matter experts. You've got Harvey McKay. He's a 70-year friend of our family. He wrote 8 books. 7 of them were New York Times bestsellers. The most popular one was Swim with the Sharks. The one from a networking perspective that I highly recommend is Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. Jim Britt, I was just on a Zoom with him earlier today. He was, Tony Robbins when he started working out, actually worked for Jim Britt and Jim Rohn. James Feldman, again, I virtually could put him in almost like every slide because he's had that kind of impact. And as you get to know him, he'll have that kind of impact with you. And the other one is Tom Gay, another gentleman that I met through networking. And then your peer advisory boards, the people at JV Directory, Mark Beelan, Rook, just to name a few. I could keep on naming them. And obviously James will be there too. But anyhow, continuing on, systemize your processes. Next key point of the 13. You want to automate the things. Um, Jim introduced me to ultimately Grammarly, TidyCal, Tom Gay's in charge of Go Connect IQ, which is a way to get to know people. If you're doing a lot of Zooms, ChatBridge is a very simple way to take the people that you meet in a Zoom, put them in a very systematic way. But you want to automate and systematize your processes. The key for me was Engage Pro. Why was it so important for me? Because before I started using Engage Pro, I would show up, share a lot of value when I met people in the one-on-ones wherever I met them, and I never started creating a list before I started using Engage Pro. Now I've got a means to really quickly remember and find out information based on who I've met. And ultimately, you want to standardize and make a system. Um, the key in system, in the acronym for system, is shape your strategy to execute and multiply. Your whole focus, no matter what it is that you do, is you want your work to go viral. And that's the key of everything that I'm doing is doing that. Clear intention. I was walking at the beginning stage of my journey with my wife. And part of your success is based on your intention. But as I was walking before we got married across from where she lived, I turned to her and I told her, there's nothing or nobody that's going to stop me from succeeding. You need to be clear on your intention. Failure was not an option. The point is, if you are if you're sold yourself and know that, that you are going to succeed, and there's an old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That has consistently happened throughout my whole journey. But have clear intentions, set your goals, your annual goals, be it if you want to make 6 figures or more a month, what are your quarterly objectives? I've got monthly objectives. I plan, my objective is to do 45 hours of networking a month and have at least 80 one-on-ones. That's just my own personal objective. What are your weekly priorities? And what is your daily purpose? What are the tasks that you have to do each and every day? I still write those down to make sure that I accomplish my tasks every single day. Master implementation, plan thoroughly. I'm always focused on having a plan and a timeline of what I want to, how I want to how I want to accomplish it. Start small. Everything is a test. The marketplace will always tell you the effectiveness of what you're doing. And if you're not getting this kind of results that you want, you need to modify and refine the things you do. Change quickly and scale successfully. Once you've got something that works, and I could, tell you a story when I started off. This was back in the cassette tape days. One of the guys that I was able to attract into the business, he started mailing tapes. And within the first 2 months, he had mailed off enough tapes where 500 people chose to take action based on the tapes. And I started to take a look at it because the key in the type of business that, network marketing, the key is not what you do, it's being able to effectively work through other people. So what we did is I figured out a strategy to take the people that he was able to influence and work effectively through those. But you want to scale, um, abandon the things that don't work and expand on the things that work. Measure your metrics. What are your key metrics? How many people you're talking to? What are the things that you're doing? Um, Review frequently and focus on consistently improving your results. My key results of the 80 people that I might be talking to on a month-to-month basis, my metrics are how can I improve the people that I'm talking to influence them to take the next level. But you want to focus on improvements all the time. Build strategically through partnerships. People I've met, James Feldman, you've heard me talk about. Diane Armitage, another key person I met through network marketing. She mentored under Bob Proctor for 27 years, wrote most of Bob Proctor's material. Tony Polici. Tony, so older brother, many of you might be aware of him as Joe Polish. He was Dean Graciosa's business and marketing strategist before Tony Robbins hired him. But these are some of the thought leaders that I consult with. Tom Gay is another one. Rainmakers, focus on people that are making things happen. Like, for example, Maury, James, David Medansky. It's like everywhere I show up, I seem to run across David amongst other people. But you want to focus on the rainmakers, the people that are actually doing things. Focus on collaborative relationships. Going back to, strengths and weaknesses. Sue handles my newsletter list. She handles all the technical thing. The only thing I really do is talk to people. Maury, anytime somebody's got a brain, has got challenges with the mindset, I guide them, you know, to Maury. Gary Rogers, if I come across people that are not looking at the camera, I will suggest that ultimately that they need to meet with Gary, Elizabeth, anybody that needs more visibility, Dave Medensky, anybody that's got a health challenge, he's my health guy. But you want, collaborative kind of business relationships. And then what are your educational platforms? About a year and a half ago, and James and I and a couple other people, Maury was there quite often. We started off with You Better Change. You Better Change will be available for the people that are part of the Live Pure on the monthly auto ship. But it's a library. James was speaking for the last year all about AI. I mean, the information that I learned about AI as far as how that can help you. And he's going to speak after we're going to do the breakout sessions. Some people will be in the breakout session with him. If you're not familiar with AI, I highly recommend being in the breakout session with James. Otherwise, when he would come back, James will be talking about AI. But the You Better Change is a library. It's a library of some amazing information. The Great Discovery is another venue. YouTube is another venue that you can plug into. One of the things that I've said, and I really believe it, it's easier to become successful today than any other time in history. I think when I started my journey, the amount of money I invested into improving my mindset, the technology that is here today that wasn't there. You've got AI. I mean, the only people, unless you are, stick your head in the sand, if you really have the desire to be successful, and you're out there in action, you've got a higher probability of being successful than any other time. Master master your prioritizations. What's urgent and important. Those are the things you want to focus on and make sure those get done on an ongoing basis. Second of all, what's important and not urgent, urgent, not important, and neither urgent nor important, and you eliminate and delete those out of your life. Develop leadership. Vision casting. Back when I started off, I was listening to a cassette tape, and this was the vision that really compelled me. It was a story, a word story. Guy talked about a word picture, and he said, think about what it would feel like being able to walk into your boss's office and be able to sit in the chair across from him, lean back, put your feet up on his desk, light up a cigar, and tell him he can no longer you would no longer be able to work for him anymore. Now, I did that, but the only thing I didn't do, because I don't smoke cigars, but I did the same. And that date was September 7th, 1990. Now you know why that's such an important date. But the point is, when you're meeting people, because most people cannot see where they're going to end up, and your ability to put your story in there, and help them understand based on where they're at, how they can create the kind of things that you want, how you vision cast their future with them. Team building. Team together, everybody achieves mastery. I look at the people around me that I've been attracting. People like Laura Cross, she's got an amazing uh, podcast. The Brewingtons, I mean, the quality people around you. Together, everybody achieves mastery. You can't do it by yourself, but team building. Join a mastermind. That's part of what we are going to be putting together that we will be announcing here. It's going to start in February. The only criteria of being part of the mastermind, and when you get to hear James speak a little bit later, is to be on the monthly authorship in Live Pure, at least for one product. It's a very low price to pay, but obviously that's a starting point because you need to have skin in the game to some level. So you want have it be a part of a mastermind, and that one will be worth it. And then understanding 3D thinking. This was the thing that really changed my life when I met James. And to real simply tell it to you, the first time I was talking with him, I said, I'm an out of the box thinker. And he said in as polite way as he could do it, he says, my whole career is understanding in the box thinking using 3D thinking. And I says, what is that? And then he goes on and tells a story. James is a master storyteller. I mean, the stories that I could tell you that I've learned from him, but he talks about his boxcar story. And I'm not going to tell you that because I'll allow, first of all, I can't tell it as good as James can tell it, but his whole, the boxcar story and understanding, you know, in the box thinking, using 3D thinking. You want to discover what's going on in that other person's world. So my first thing when I'm doing a one-on-one with somebody, it starts off after you get through whatever niceties that you have. Tell me what you do, and more importantly, what you're doing to expand what you're doing. And I'm listening. And then I might ask a few questions. So I want to understand what's going on in their world. That's the first D. The second D is the distance from where they are to where they want to be. And the third D is the determination. Are they really serious and determined to create the success that they talk about? What I've learned is there's a lot of what I'll call wannapreneurs in the entrepreneurial space. I only want to deal with people that are serious and committed. Leverage your resources. This is the reason why I love network or multi-level marketing so much. It's all based on using leverage, time, technology, talent, systems, capital in a way. And the only way you make money is by helping other people. So anyhow, leverage resources. Elevate your purpose. I mentioned when I first started, my purpose was to get away from a 9 to 5 job. Now my life purpose is to help more people create the success that I've experienced throughout living from the things from everything that I've done. You want to have value based beyond just making profit, communities, whatever. Third, sustainable mindset. You've got to balance your short term and the long term as it relates to what you do. And then you want to be able to innovate using AI and technology. And as I wrap it up, the key in everything is understanding the more you GIVE, the more you'll GET, givers gain. Ultimately, you want to embrace your whole focus. That's why I focus starting off by ultimately figuring out what I can do to be of value. What resource can I share with somebody? Um, because I know the more I give, the more I get. Understand 3D thinking. The more that you're around, with James, because he goes into much deeper. as it relates to 3D thinking that I'm talking about. Next thing is uncover your SWOT. Understand the person's strengths that you're talking with, their weaknesses, help them see the opportunities, and help them avoid the threats. Share your resources generously. But the key, and here's the key, because many of us are what I call people pleasers. You need to understand and set clear boundaries. There's a lot of takers. Everything's got to be based on reciprocity. So understand your boundaries, otherwise, people will take advantage of you, and make sure that there's clarity in the communication. So, with that, that's as much as I was going to share with you. I know we're going to go into a breakout room. And so, for those of you that have got questions as far as anything that you want to ask me, I'm going to be there and available. Otherwise, James is going to head up the other breakout room, and anything that you might want to know about AI. And then, after when we come back from the breakout rooms, James is going to have a presentation, and
Right.
I will guarantee you do not want to miss what James is going to talk about for those of you that haven't heard about him. Normally and typically, if you go to eSpeakers.com, normally he gets $15,000 or more to talk. This guy is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. So, anyhow, with that, Elizabeth, thank you. I'm glad to be able to present.
What an honor. Thank you. Can you stop sharing so we bring everybody into the room?
I
And I'll
sure
give
can.
instructions. Wow, that was amazing. So whenever you think about your elevator pitch and get resourced, this is the way to do it. Those slides were incredible. So everybody, please give him a round of applause. Does anyone have any questions before we break into breakout rooms? Okay, so the what we're going to do is we're going to break you up into breakout rooms. I will keep 3 or 4 people with me to do interviews, and then I will bring you all back. And James, I can't wait, James, to meet you. And I've heard so much about you. And then James is going to do the AI presentation, and then we'll do another breakout room. And so James and Robert are facilitating the breakout rooms. So get ready, get ready, get ready with your questions, and
Yeah.
I will keep Anand and people that I have will do my interviews
Yeah.
with. All
Elizabeth, do you
right?
want to put James and I in both the same room so
No,
that we
no,
can?
no.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
do that because
Got it.
I need 2 people to manage everyone. But I have more people in your room. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me move. Okay, let me give you all equal.
And if somebody that comes into either James or my room wants to go to the other one, can they come back and can you put
Yes,
the
yes, they can, and we can reset it. All right, so over to the rooms. I don't know how many minutes. We're going to give you 30 minutes. Okay. All right. Or shall we do 20 so that we have more time for James? Let's do 15. Can you all manage in 15?
15's fine, yeah.
Okay.
15's good.
All right. All right. There you go. Okay. Okay. All right. James, you're going to be facilitating the room.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'll bring you back. I've got to do these interviews real quick.
not a
Yeah,
problem.
but you can stay with me if you want. That's fine. All right.
I'll be here.
Okay, so hello, hello, hello. And I'm going to begin with, so y'all can get 5 minutes to either record your talk or I can do an interview. So I'll start with Anand. How do you pronounce your name? Oh, you'll have to turn your volume down.
Did you put me into a room? I'm
I
still with
did.
you.
I did. I did. Okay, hold on. Uh, James, one sec. Let me see. Assign to room 2. Okay.
There we go.
All right. Okay.
And Elizabeth, if you don't mind, I'd like to actually not go first since this is my first time here.
Okay,
If you want to choose anyone else, that's absolutely fine with me.
Sure. Let me see. Danielle, anyone's ready to be the taker? Danielle? Oh, you need some time too? All right. Hold on. What about you? Are you brave enough to do the interview, Siko?
I have no idea what the interview is.
Oh, wait.
This is my first time.
Are you one of Robert Butwin's people?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Let me assign you to a room. Hold on.
Okay. No
I have
problem.
to do these interviews because that's what I do. Hold on. Assigned.
I mean, if you want to interview me, that's fine. I've known Robert for 40 years or something like that, but
Oh, okay, then you can stay with me because I have to do everyone. So yeah. All right.
what?
So
I just don't know what the interview. So
I'll
you
I'll give
interview
you
me?
I'll give you the format. So I'm Elizabeth Brewington, and this is Elton, and we are with Discover Brightside, and it's a video podcast. So unlike the networking events that Robert does, I record sessions, and then you can share that to your social media. It's like content for you.
Oh, I better fix my hair then.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that another day. I don't need to put you on a spot. Yeah. Would you like me to interview on another day?
Let me see. I don't want to take up too much everybody's time here. Let me just put a hat on. My hair is just kind of out. I need the haircut and stuff. There's my dog. And I just
All right.
moved into an apartment, so everything's all over the place.
I know. All right. Well, all right.
So go ahead. Do somebody else first. I'll get ready. Oh, here's my
Okay.
hat.
All right.
Danielle, I'm back and
You're
I
back?
am ready. Yeah,
Okay.
if you
All
you
right.
want to
All
do
right.
me.
I will. Let me just take him. Now he's blocking me. Hold on. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. So do you want to be interviewed or do you want to just talk?
Let's do an interview,
Okay. All right.
if you don't mind.
No, I love it. That's what I do. Okay, here we go.